So for the star shape on the passenger insert, probably the easiest thing to do is ignore the 5-point star that they have in the diagram and just create a 6-point star. That's probably the easiest. So we're going to put a new sketch. And then we're going to draw our 6-point star down here. Now, the easiest way to draw that 6-point star is to use two triangles. So since we already have the polygon tool, set it at 3. And then we're going to find sort of the center point. This is going to be a little tricky. I can line it up in a minute. So I'll do one triangle here. And remember, this time I'm going to use a horizontal constraint for the bottom and make it rotate horizontally like that. Then I'm going to escape, and I'm going to grab my middle of my triangle and I'm going to slide it around a little bit to kind of get in the middle of the part here. I'm also going to, I don't want it this big, but I do want it a little bit bigger. So we're going to dimension this side here. I'm going to go ahead and call it 0.5. That should be a good size. And now I'm actually going to create another triangle. Click the polygon tool. Should already be set at 3. I'm going to use the exact same center point and see how I'm creating another triangle in exactly the same space, but this time I'm actually going to go to here and I'm going to rotate it. All right. Now, in order to make sure it's the same size, I'm going to use the equal sign. And I'm going to say that this side is equal to this side. And now it has moved it around a little bit. They're now equal. And because I'm using the same center point, here, I'll double check one thing. I know I have this one set as horizontal. I'm going to make this one set as horizontal just to make sure it's perfectly symmetric. And it is. Hit escape again, and now let's slide it up just a little bit and over just a little bit by grabbing the center point. And if you wanted to, at this point, you could go through and you could set this bottom part as 0.5, a 0.05 like it is for the other parts. And then from the back, from here to here at 0.2. That's not necessary at this point because we've just kind of freelanced the star itself. So before we cut it out, though, if I tried to extrude cut this right now, it would come in pieces. So what I want to do is I want to remove the middle lines here. So we look at the tools under Modify, and we find the Trim tool. So click on the Trim tool, and you'll have to zoom in close. You see how if I hover over this line, it's all green at first, and then I can tell very faintly that there's a dotted line here. That dotted line is the piece that I'm going to cut out. So I'm going to click. I'm going to click here, here, and so on and so forth. And that is our 6-pointed star. So now I can finish sketch, extrude, and now reverse it to a cut. Click OK. And that is the 6-point star that you could use as a shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish out with this video, and then I'll go back and make another video for a 5-point star, which is a little more complicated, but it can be kind of cool. So to finish this out, right now I'm looking at the front. I'm going to flip it around to the back. So what we need to understand is this piece is actually hollow. And that's what shell is. So we're going to do a shell thickness of 0.01. So I'm going to angle it back again so you can kind of see where we are. Let's do that right there. So if we look at it, here is the isometric view of the front. This is the front face. I'm going to rotate it one corner. This is the back face. So now I'm going to use the shell tool. So I look up here under Create, and then under Modify, here is the shell tool. Click on Shell. It's going to ask you some questions. First of all, do you want to remove the face that we're shelling? Yes, we do. And then what is our thickness going to be? It should be 0.01. And then we're going to click on the back face. Then click OK. So let's look and analyze what's happened. I had a part that looked solid, except for the cutouts. Now, upon further inspection, I have it hollowed out. So you see what that's done? That's hollowed it out into a tray. That is called a shell. So what does that do in the real world? Well, that saves a lot of money in plastic. So if this is being glued down anyway, does it really matter if it's a solid piece of plastic? No. So you shell it out. That saves money on plastic. It saves time on the manufacturing process. So it's something useful and convenient. You do this with sheet metal a lot. Now, you don't necessarily extrude cut the same way you do with sheet metal, but it is part of the design. So that's called a shell. And finally, we're going to change the color. Up here at the top, well, first thing we want to do is we want to select the name of the part. I've named it Passenger Insert 6-point. So once I select the name, you'll notice it's been highlighted blue. Now there's some color wheels at the top. The middle color wheel. Click there. You have to double click. All right, there it is. So, what color do we want? We're going to search. I'm going to make it green because that's what it is in the diagram. And then it says you're looking currently in Inventor materials. So I want to make sure I'm looking in all the folders, not just the materials folder. So maybe, let's see, is there a way to search all? Yeah, so if you click on search result, then it's going to give you every green that has been labeled inside Inventor altogether. And basically it's this green here, that the dark green as they call it, although that's pretty bright. That's the one that I think they have in the diagram or the picture. So grab that one, that picture, and drag it here where it says the search term is not found. Drag it here. And so if we have select our part, name, then click on our color, and it has now been applied. And now you can X out. Save what we have. File. Save as if you haven't named it yet. Passenger Insert 6-point or Passenger Insert and then your initials. That's fine. And then click Save. Yes, replace it. And that is it for the Passenger Insert. Now, I will make another video to show you how to put it on a drawing sheet, because the drawing sheet is what you're going to turn into Canvas. All right, if you want to look at the 5-point star, check out that video. That's coming up next.